Mega Bad interviews.
I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Kyle Pittman of Minor Key Games. We're here at Game Dallas and Big Design. I'm showing off Super Win the Game. Just outside.
That's super.
It is super. I'm super excited. The game comes out in like 3
I'm
weeks.
super excited too. I'm super excited for... Wait, what's happening? Okay. Tell us about your whole background.
So I've been developing games since I was a kid. I sort of taught myself to program when I was, maybe about 5 or 6 years old, and because I wanted to get into game development, I've sort of been doing that over the years. I spent a few years in AAA development, about 6 or 7 years at Gearbox Software, and then last summer I decided that I wanted to make indie games full time, so that's what I'm doing now. And in fact, my first game that I've been developing full time is just about to launch on Steam, so I am super excited about it.
Yeah. What is your favorite thing about being an indie developer?
So for me, I loved working in AAA. It was awesome to be part of a big team, to see something get built from the ground up with 100 or more people working on it. But at the same time, I like the design autonomy that comes with indie development. I like being able to have control over everything. And it's a double-edged sword. It means that I do have to keep that big picture in mind of like I'm having to care about the art and the music and the design and the programming all at once. But I don't know. It's a really good experience. I really like that.
I'm sure this is probably not your first indie game, so tell us about your experience and adventures as an indie developer.
Cool, yeah. I've been, even when I was working in AAA development, I was doing smaller projects on the side. Probably the biggest one of those was a game that I made back in 2012 called You Have to Win the Game. And in fact, the new one, Super Win, is a sequel to that. Yeah, that was sort of a 2D platformer, a little bit into the hardcore massive horror genre, something like Super Meat Boy or V. Those are the games I was looking at when I made it. So yeah, and now I'm working on a sequel to that, which is sort of taking all those concepts and building on those, making a bigger, better, sort of more open world experience.
Now, what sort of things do you do to kind of promote your indie games? Now, you have been in SGC, of course.
Right.
But what other conventions have you tried to look at to sort of promote your games, or in fact being into the gaming industry, to kind of get more people who want to break into the industry and get inside?
So I've been taking the game out on the road a lot this year, and pretty much as soon as I had a playable build that people could get their hands on, I took it to RTX down in Austin, Screw Attack and QuakeCon here in Dallas. We're here at Big Design now. I'm showing it off, and then I'll be taking it to Retropalooza in 2 weeks, which I think that'll be a lot of fun. Just a con devoted to the old school retro games that I'm sort of trying to emulate here. But yeah, I'm also, I've been talking to YouTubers and live streamers and basically anyone who, would want to have a chance to play the game early or to stream it when it comes out. So I'm talking to those guys, and I'll be doing more when the game launches too, as far as, jumping into streams and, talking to people in the chat about how I made the game and stuff like that.
How you made the game, that could be our next game.
you have to make the game.
Now, what sort of other games besides You Have to Win the Game have you been considering making? Because I know there was maybe one, I'm not sure if it was you, but there was one other indie game that besides You Have to Win the Game that you might have worked on. I might have been thinking.
Right. So our company, Minor Key Games, it's me and my brother, and we actually work on separate projects, but last year, the game that my brother made called Eldritch, we released that on Steam, and that was sort of a first-person stealth action game based on the works of H.P. Lovecraft. And we have another game coming out, hopefully next spring, which is going to sort of build on some of those concepts. It's going to be another first-person stealth action game, a little bit more in the sort of pure stealth direction of something like Thief, though, with sort of like a futuristic, cyberpunk, political thriller narrative. So yeah, keep an eye out for that one. And probably after I release Super Win the Game, I'm not sure what we're going to do yet. I've had a few ideas to do something else still in the retro vein, maybe like an arcade game, but I don't know. We'll see. I have lots of ideas and not enough time to make all of them.
I'm sure you'll be able to make all of them at some point.
That's the dream, right?
Yeah. Now, what are the biggest challenges you faced on your development?
I think staying motivated is one of the biggest problems. It's very, very easy to get into a bad habit of like waking up late, drinking some coffee, checking Twitter, finally doing a little bit of work on the game, and then staying up late, playing video games or something. But no, I mean, at the same time, I joke about that, but I am also kind of a workaholic, so I'll get into total crunch mode and just spend hours and hours working on the game as well, so it's a little bit of both.
Now, of course, you have to win the game, and Eldritch, all those games have been released on PC. Have you considered any other platform, like any console, to...
We want to do a console at some point. I mean, I think the games that we've made would be perfectly suited to consoles. And like, I always play with the 360 controller at home just because I love that controller. But yeah, it's not something that I think we're really looking into right now, just because we don't have the resources. Like, the company is just me and my brothers, and it's something that I would like to do, and maybe we could work with outsourcing partners who could bring those games to other platforms, but again, I don't know when or if that would happen.
You could Kickstarter it.
That would be an option. We haven't dealt with Kickstarter yet, but we might do that someday.
I guess that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you for your time.
Awesome, yeah, thank you.
And when do we see your game out?
It'll be out October 1st on Steam for Windows, Mac, and Linux.
You can follow Minor Key Games at Minor Key Games, or go to www.minorkeygames.com.
So tell us about your current game in development that's about to release.
Cool, yeah. Super Win the Game is a 2D platformer. It's sort of a throwback to all the classic Nintendo games that I played when I was growing up. It's things like Super Mario Bros. 3, Zelda 2, Metroid. I sort of wanted to take all the best parts of those games and bring them together into a cohesive experience and something that really feels like it could have believably existed like back in the late 80s or early 90s. It comes out on Steam in about 3 weeks. It's going to be out October 1st for Windows, Mac, and Linux. It'll be $12.99 for the game. You can also buy it with the soundtrack for $14.99. Yeah.
Now this is probably a sequel to You Have to Win the Game.
Yes. So with You Have to Win the Game, I was sort of trying to make something that felt like it was coming from the early 80s PC era with CGA graphics, and each room is a single screen. There's no scrolling. With this one, I'm trying to take on the NES era. So there are bigger rooms, the screen does scroll. You'll see some of those effects of like you hit the edge of a room and all the dynamic elements disappear, the room scrolls over and everything comes in. So I'm trying to look at things that NES games did and make an attempt to recreate some of those aesthetic things with this one.
This is probably something I'm not sure if people have tried. I'm assuming people have. But have you considered trying to taking on making games or making a game that's sort of inspired by the 64, PS1, and Dreamcast?
I would love to do that. I think that would be really cool to try to get like those, especially the PlayStation 1 where it had the sort of uncorrected texture coordinates, so everything would look sort of wonky when it gets close to the camera. I would love to try to do something like that someday. That would be awesome. I don't have any specific plans, but yeah, that would be cool.